Good afternoon and welcome to the show, CEOs Get Real. Today I've got our guest, Christopher Lai. I'm your host, Christopher Marston. Two Christophers.
Our parents have good taste.
They do. I love it. Good man. So we got Marquis Beverages here today. You're the CEO.
That's right.
And so heavy lies the crown.
Indeed it does.
And it's not just a saying, it is also the logo of Marquis.
Our crown logo.
Show me some stuff.
Oh, you got it, Chris.
You got me goodies?
I did bring you a little bag of goodies.
Who locked down that IP?
Some guy I know. I don't know. I think he ripped me off.
Exactly. Some crazy guy.
We have
I love it.
3 standard issue hats.
I love it. Check it out. Oh, our brand color.
Fresh white.
Purple.
All with our colors.
Love it. With the cup matching the drinks, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And then we have 2 standard issue funny t-shirts.
Ah, teasome.
The perfect teasome.
You're such a tease.
I
love
try
it.
sometimes.
You do. I love it.
So 2 sizes.
Is that a large? Oh, you got one for me.
Yeah,
Okay,
the small is for you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. If only my wife thought I was a small. That's great.
Hey,
Can you keep this in there for me?
Yeah,
I'm
you got
gonna.
it.
Thanks for the
Sure.
goodies. I love that.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna dig it. That's great.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Well, it's great. Finally, we're doing this because it's been years we've been working together, and so we watched you in the journey.
Yeah.
But you're
Still going.
it's still going. But how many years has it been since you started?
Technically,
Like 4 or 5?
it's been 10 years since we incorporated.
No kidding.
Yeah, but we've been in the marketplace for 6.5 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
6.5 years at market.
Yeah.
Amazing. By the way, what are we drinking? Because we always drinking on the show, except we're drinking your stuff.
And I'm always drinking when I'm not on the show. So.
Good. We'll get along just fine, Chris. That's why we get along. So what do we got here?
Well, I mean, Marquis, but Marquis mixed with alcohol is Marquis mixology, what we like to call Marcology.
So I'm digging what we're having because I got the vodka today. I provided the vodka, and he provided. It was my choice.
Marquis.
And you found the right perfect match for what I got, which was like a raspberry absolute. And,
That's right. So that's one of our signature drinks is a Marquini.
Okay,
Where
that's
it's
great.
Marquis Superberry and vodka. In this
Okay.
case, raspberry vodka.
Well, let's do a toast.
Sure.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank
to
you
your
for having me.
success.
Cheers.
This is good stuff, by the way.
Thank you. We do it for you.
Well, for anybody who doesn't know, while Chris is drinking, he think he's on his 3rd by now.
Yeah, easily.
But we're not going to tell his wife.
She knows.
That's good. She knows who she married, right?
That's right. No secrets.
I love it. So this business has been, you started your business with your brother.
Yeah, my brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law. I mean, how do you do that? Like, it's got the in-law thing afterwards. So, how did that come about?
But, it's not even a thing. I've known him since I was 14.
Wow.
I've known him
Oh, so you got the seal of approval from brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, going back, he's now seen me grow up, from a teenager to, CEO.
Older?
He's older.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't look that much older, but he's older. He also doesn't act that much older. but
Does
he's older.
he know that? That's great.
Yeah, everyone knows that. It's great working with him.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, but he also brings in a lot of wisdom and experience.
Okay.
He had a lot of time with Ed Hardy.
Okay.
With that brand and bring that brand to Asia. So we're learning a lot from him and taking a lot of cues from him.
So culturally similar? Did you have to deal with that difference?
Not really, no. We're more American than anything,
Okay.
so it's not that, I don't have to bow to him every time I see him.
Got it.
It's not like that.
Okay.
It's very fun and casual.
Okay, good.
So it's great.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So when you started the company, you incorporated like a decade ago, though. Mm-hmm. All right. So this is a natural beverage. Exemplar was in this space for like 15 years when it was like the little local foods, fancy food shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And now you go to Expo West, the Natural Products Expo, your feet fall off. Mm-hmm. Like I walked the show with you guys. I walked the show to visit you. You know what ended up happening? At the end of the show, I ended up buying a massage chair because it's time. You know it's time to call it a day when the industry got so big, you're buying a massage chair off the floor.
Exactly. That show is
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that really speaks to the industry and the growth of it. And, people like myself and Danny entered the industry 10 years ago. And at that time, the organic boom was in full swing.
Yeah.
Everyone's shopping at Whole Foods and looking at Sprouts and looking for organic products. So we were right on that cusp in between, organic products and your conventional energy drink. So, we got together, we walked the show, we kind of analyzed both industries and saw an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was early on. So what came about that led you to start Marquis? Like, what was the dynamic that said, okay, we need an energy drink? Is that how you position it? Like, what's your positioning?
Originally, we positioned it as a organic energy drink.
Okay.
And the origin is, for the better part of the previous decade, we were drinking tons of energy drinks. A lot of people were.
Red Bull, Monster, all the
Yeah.
taurine-based stuff.
Exactly. Right. So, energy drinks by themselves and energy drinks with vodka. A lot of that. And then, it was great. We're having a good time. And we saw the growth and value and appeal with that functional beverage. But then as we did a lot of it, and we drank a lot of it, we wanted something better. And there really wasn't anything else. So
when you say better, like, what do you mean by better?
A couple different things. Taste.
Yeah.
If anyone knows the taste of taurine,
it's not so great.
Yeah, it's very overpowering. But
Yeah.
by now, a lot of people have acquired that taste and have accepted,
acclimated or whatever to it. Yeah.
Right. Which is fine. But we wanted to create a different taste profile. We also wanted to create something that was a little bit more healthy. 0 calories, 0 sugar, and at the time, 0 sugar stuff didn't taste great. And I don't always drink 0 sugar either. So to design or craft a drink, I had to make it palatable for myself. So we did just that. We created a healthier, organic energy drink. That wasn't enough, so we made it non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan. At one point, it was kosher. So now we're in a spot, and we really kind of carved out a piece of this market, and really created an adjacent category to these energy drinks.
Okay, and so how would you categorize it? Do you still say it's an energy drink, but it's like energy drink and something else, or do you put it in 2 areas? Or
so originally, when we decided to create an organic energy drink, we thought that we could just all of a sudden, communicate to the consumer that this is not your typical energy drink. It's not bad for you. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Now B2B, when you're a buyer at one of the major chains that you all shop at, they don't need another energy drink. But what they do need
is it crowded?
It's very crowded, very crowded, and that's a lot of the challenges that a lot of beverages have in general. But so instead of being an energy drink, by the way, we do give you energy. That's one of our functions. We're also a yerba mate drink. We're a green tea drink. We're a green coffee drink. We're loaded with vitamins B and C and antioxidants.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, I had no idea. There's yerba mate in there?
Yeah.
I'm drinking yerba mate here?
That's right.
That's hot. Yeah. We have some yerba mate brands, and that stuff is really healthy, and I had no idea that you could make that stuff taste like this.
Yeah. And that's one
great.
of
Wow.
thank you for agreeing with that.
Well, I mean, if you've tasted yerba mate, I'm not knocking the yerba mate guys because I have some great tasting yerba mate, but that's also an acquired taste.
For sure. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people want that taste. For us, we wanted to bring the same value of yerba mate and all of our other ingredients, but flavor it with fruit flavors and flavors from around the world, and give a different experience for tea.
Okay. So how many different flavors do you have?
Just 3 for now, but we got a couple in the works. We have mango ginger, super berry, and citrus yuzu. Okay.
Now you had tried out more than 3 and through the life of this business. Because I think I tasted them all over the years, right?
Yeah, you definitely have. And actually what's going on in the behind the scenes is the best part about being in beverage is tasting and testing different things, and then trying out different stuff and testing the consumer and see if they can respond to it. 10 years ago, I don't think anyone would understand what a yuzu was.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But nowadays it's
Barely
kind of
pronounce it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But nowadays I think if someone doesn't know, if a consumer or a millennial consumer doesn't know something, they'll ask Siri.
Yeah.
Or Alexa. And
It's all on their phone now. They're like, yo,
and
what's
there's a
that?
little bit more appeal there. And then when they taste it, I think that's when we win.
So what was the genesis story? Like, was it your brother? Was it you? Was there an epiphany moment?
We were together. I mean, we were together a lot because we were going out, having a good time. And then
So was it like you married your wife and you got like an extra brother-in-law? It's like you got to hang out with like
well,
you were hanging out all the time. You said. So,
I mean, imagine I met him at 14.
Yeah,
So that was in '96, and so I've known him for such a long time.
Gosh.
That hanging out and having fun, and then talking and doing what family does together.
Yep.
We decided to go for something that wasn't available. So we created it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how did you you had to know it wasn't available? You had to were you looking for it?
Yeah, I mean,
Were you sitting around with some Red Bulls? I mean, this stuff tastes like crap. So it's I think I'm gonna die or have a heart attack, and then you're like,
there's definitely many nights of that
Okay.
that led up to this decision. It wasn't like an overnight decision.
Okay.
It was in the process, and I feel like good decisions come through a process, and you really have to think about it, and it takes time.
So how old were you when you took the leap to be an entrepreneur?
Well, technically, I was 28.
Okay.
Was when we first incorporated, had the idea, and then went for it. But at that time, it wasn't full time. We were doing other stuff, but we still engaged consultants, and we bought other brands on the shelf and taste tested, and then looked for suppliers and formulators.
I know you took your time.
Yeah,
'Cause I think we met up at Rose Cafe. Way back.
Yeah, that must have been
before
2014.
it's way back when.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels like it was before then.
Maybe 13. We didn't know enough to engage legal
exactly.
counsel.
Yeah, it was before. Well, that's fine. There's a point at which CEOs get real
Growing
at some
pains,
point.
yeah.
Growing pains. That's right. But that was killer. So what was why the brother-in-law get involved? What was that about?
He
Danny, by the way, let's give him a name because
All
I
right,
like
Danny.
Danny. I want to honor Danny. I love Danny.
No,
he's not out here.
In the next episode, you get to feature Danny.
Good.
And then at that time he was he was working with Ed Hardy. He was one of the licensees for the brand, and so he knew a lot about branding. He knew a lot about merchandise, retail, and selling something. So together, actually, we saw a void in the beverage category. We also saw an opportunity to create a brand. And that's something pretty special because they don't teach you that in business school. They don't teach you how to build a brand.
There's a
They teach
lot.
you-
Yeah, they don't teach you. in
and
business
what
school.
they would have professed 10 years ago is not that applicable today. So we had that privilege of creating our own thing wrapped around a beverage, but Marquis is still more than just beverage. So we have plans to take our brand further than just the can.
Yeah. How did you decide the roles? You have an older brother-in-law, and you're the CEO. So, how did that go?
It came out naturally.
It did?
Yeah, there wasn't an argument.
Okay.
At all. I think he's actually very happy not being CEO.
Because he doesn't have to be the front guy?
Yeah.
So, he just, personality-wise, he wasn't like the front guy personality.
He is, but not in terms of a CEO. A CEO has a little bit more responsibility than being,
Oh, he's smart enough to
publicist.
know that shit flows up. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I didn't know that.
Okay,
so
that's
why
right.
I'm
You were the
sitting- that's
so
why I'm
jokes
sitting
on
in
you.
the
Got it.
seat.
Yeah, that's right. I love
yeah,
that.
That's right.
Well, what it was? Tell me, is there something in the name, like when you were naming it?
What we wanted to create was a brand.
Yeah.
And Marquis is French for nobility, and we really wanted to create nice and had that luxe appeal, but wasn't too foreign, wasn't too polarizing. So when at
That was
time,
easier back then.
Yeah, right. But back then we're looking at Red Bull,
Yeah, that's
Monster,
right. Yeah.
just like these names that
Yeah.
didn't really mean that much.
That's true.
But for us, like with Marquis, okay, it's French. Not everyone speaks French, but the crown
Yeah.
is something that anybody can relate to.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to create a brand around empowerment.
Okay.
And so, and it was really a universal brand that anyone could enjoy and wear.
Okay,
So,
that's great.
yeah.
Because I think you have an apparel line that sort of matches that. Because I got gifts today.
That's right. That's another fun way that we can brand.
Okay.
And that people can be a part of Marquis.
And Chris, you've taken a unique distribution strategy rather than the traditional distribution strategy, because you've defined your own unique space in the market, and you said this is where we are. So maybe you could talk a little bit into that.
Sure. It is challenging. Well, first off, beverage as a category.
It's a tough category.
Yeah. I call it Division 1 CPGs.
Got it.
If you could make it there, you're doing something right.
That's right.
But highly competitive, highly crowded, and this game has evolved in the past 10 years.
Sure.
With all the different marketing tools, so it's difficult now creating a new category, being adjacent to the energy category, and now being part of this whole new progressive set, innovative beverages. It's exciting because we're not alone, but we are alone with our secret sauce. But there are other people on the shelf like coffees and super coffees and coconut waters and
that's right.
Different types of drinks, other yerba mate drinks too. So it's a whole new game.
Yeah, it is a whole new game. But are you always, is it grab and go, or is it always refrigerated when you're buying it in the store?
When it's cold, it's sold. So we prefer that.
Got it.
But it's shelf stable,
Well,
it doesn't have to be
But you're saying it tastes better cold.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously, because how we're doing it real. But
yeah,
is that most of the sales are sold cold?
I would say there's more velocity
when
it's cold, when it's sold cold.
Okay.
There are, in the universe of distribution points, the universe is vast.
Yeah.
You have your grocery chains, you have your gas and convenience stores.
Yeah.
You have on-premise, you have food service. There's a lot. So, grab and go is always nice because that's the fastest velocity.
Yeah.
But that also requires brand awareness and brand recognition.
Sure.
Which is another expensive challenge.
Sure is. Well, the reason I ask is because you go to a grocery store, most people don't realize, they think about food and beverage, and there's still aisles of stuff that's non-refrigerated beverage.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a space, the amount of space dedicated to something that's grab and go refrigerated, there's very little space.
Yeah.
In other words, there's a lot of room to create brands, but there's like this much to shove it into.
That's right.
And that's the challenge in beverage that a lot of people don't appreciate.
Yeah, and that's also the opportunity that grocery stores see to charge me
slotting fees
for exactly.
Right. But so for those that don't understand that, maybe you can explain that a little bit for the people who don't understand like the challenges in beverage.
Sure. Just with grocery stores, the big box stores that we all are familiar with, no matter what state you're in. Some of them operate in the fashion where they know that beverage is a pretty gangster business, and sometimes it's pay to play. And they make some money off of just, if you want to be on my shelf and you want 3 facings or 6 facings, I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars for less than a year to prove yourself. Since I entered the beverage game, there have been even more beverages that have come on board.
Sure.
So it's saturated. They know that there's more beverages than demand.
So are they raising the tax to get in there, basically the fees to get in, or...
In a way...
Or are they just letting you ride it, but if you don't succeed, you're not going to be able to pay it, basically?
Certainly, there's sometimes that entrance fee that you got to pay, but then that's not it. That's not where it ends. It's all about support.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned is that you just can't put a can on the shelf and expect it to sell.
It's just going to go, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
You have to support it. You do that with retail execution. You do that with in-store marketing. You do that with outdoor marketing and digital marketing. All the marketing things that
Well, without going into too much detail, because the journey is kind of a private thing, but there's an element of like hitting your head against the wall and figuring out the formula, because it is a little bit different for every company.
Yeah.
But when you think about distribution and what supporting it means, you're not supporting everyone in the country knowing your brand always.
Yeah.
And then you've got seasonality factors where when people are getting nice, cool, fresh drinks in different geographies.
Yeah, like
right?
Massachusetts during the winter.
Ain't happening.
Yeah, sales are a little slow.
And it's not because they're massholes. It's just damn cold.
That's right.
I moved from there, I would know. We had Snowmageddon in 2013, which is why I now live in Los Angeles. Like that.
I remember that. Well, welcome to LA.
Thanks, by the way. We're going to need a refill here in a minute.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
Chris, that's great. So tell me about, you had so were you married when you started this?
No, I was not, but I just started dating my wife.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So at some point you got married. Now you have a lovely child with the second one on the way. Is that right?
That's right.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I have 2 little girls, and they're the love of my life. So, is yours boy or girl?
Both are boys. Well,
Okay.
my second one will be a boy in October. So, and your daughters are half Chinese.
Yes, they are.
I think
They are.
there could be something there.
There could be. It's a setup. I like it. Chris, I appreciate that you respect me enough to say such a thing. That's a compliment, everybody. That's amazing. Chris to Chris. I appreciate that.
That's right.
So good. We'll do some play dates and see how that goes.
Until they're 18, where
Yeah.
they get to decide for themselves.
For themselves. That's a hoot. So, but you know what's neat about what your journey is that, so what about Danny? What's his story?
At the time of inception in the first few years, obviously, we're working closely every day, and we're trying to figure it out. And
No, I mean like his family story.
His family story?
Yeah. He's married?
He is married to my wife. My sister.
yes.
Whoa. No.
So thank God for post-production, but anyway.
He's married to my sister.
Okay.
One of my 3 sisters, and he is a product of 4 children as well.
Okay.
Born in Taiwan, but was raised here in LA.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, he has 2 sons and 2 daughters.
Okay, wow, beautiful.
Yeah. Within the ranges of, I think now it's.
But when did he get married?
2 and 9. He got married in 2008.
So 2008. Okay, so he got married before starting the business.
Yeah.
And you got married after.
Yeah, way after.
Okay. Because there's a saying like you can only blow your life savings once and then stay married. So you were. Did you have any issues not issues, but like there's this thing about feeling like you're a provider or like stability for the family, and you're going into marriage and a relationship. I'm sure other entrepreneurs that are millennials are thinking about or navigating those dynamics.
Absolutely, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
At the time, when I started Marquis with Danny, that was what I was doing, and that's that was it.
And then you got a brother-in-law too, and you're like, you got those dynamics. You're like married to a sister, for God's sakes, right? So then that had to be like,
yeah. So
but
now I feel responsible for my sister as well,
right?
Because I'm indirectly, affecting her life.
That's true too.
In that response, so yeah, there is a lot of that weight, but that's not what I think about, day in and day out. We think about how are we going to sell Marquis.
So you kept focused.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, these distractions during the day don't do you any good. Of course, I thought about it at night.
Yeah, of course.
Hence, Marcology was developed.
Yeah, of course. That's good. Are we going to do a refill then?
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to do more of this. Go for it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's bring it out.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I did wash my hands before
it's all good.
Came on the show.
Pandemic disclaimer. I love that.
But apparently, alcohol kills the
it does.
The virus.
So we're good.
So
we're good. And I was
fine.
tested. Telling you.
I've maintained a high alcohol blood level since the beginning.
So it's perfect.
So I'm pretty sure.
You don't have a chance of getting it. I love it. Well, the Asians are really particularly. They know the game, right?
Yeah, they're used to it.
My wife is Chinese, and I'm half Asian because I'm Caucasian. And so you know to wear a mask and like stay safe and all that stuff.
Yeah. What kind of Chinese is your wife?
Like Guizhou? Guizhounese? Like real?
Guizhou, like Guangzhou?
No, Guizhou.
Not Guangzou.
No, not Guangzhou. No,
Does she speak Mandarin?
Mandarin.
Okay.
Guizhou, it's near Sichuan. Just spicy food. Spicy food.
Oh, I didn't know what Sichuan was.
You didn't?
All those years
Really?
eating at McDonald's, having Sichuan sauce.
No kidding.
No,
In
of
the
course I
mountainous
know.
region, of course you know.
Yeah, of course I know that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So yeah, no, I dig it. I can eat anything with chopsticks now, including slippery mushrooms, which is crazy.
Do you stab it with a chopstick?
No.
Or you actually can...
No, I do it the right way. Like I could pick up a grain of slippery rice with chopsticks without poking it.
Do you hold your chopsticks close to the tip?
This is a white guy test. Check it out. I love it.
Hey, you said that, not me.
I love it. Good. There we
Cheers,
go.
Chris.
Cheers, man. So, but my wife figured out, you might appreciate this, that the way to get her husband to eat vegetables is to wrap them in bacon. So she would serve up this like mushroom wrap, bacon wrapped mushrooms and bacon wrapped asparagus and stuff. And I love it.
I love bacon.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, pig is traded on the futures market. There's
Right?
a reason why.
For a reason.
Yeah,
Right.
and
They are the future.
I always appreciated the pig animal. One, my son was born in the pig year, but
My
two,
wife's a pig.
Oh, really?
Yes, lazy as they come. I mean, but she's really productive at work. Like she's amazing. She's a rock star. But the way she explains it is it's so that she's highly efficient, so that she could be lazy.
All right.
She's like she could afford to relax because she was really efficient.
She might be smarter than you, Chris.
And then my wife says smarter. Behind every good man,
There's a Chinese woman. No,
pig ear, smart.
I'm just
yep.
kidding. My wife is Korean. She's gonna kill me when she sees this.
Holy kimchi! All right, good. All right. So how is that?
It's fine. Well, I mean, because we
'Cause
both
you're
identify as more American
Okay,
than
got it.
anything. It's not like I
Okay.
imported her.
No, it's fine. Well, I did. So I'm just kidding. Mine's from China, so I didn't import her, but I met her after she came here. Thank God. That's amazing. Do you speak Mandarin?
A little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like my Farsi is better, and my Korean is better.
Really?
Yeah.
So you learned some Korean and to like adapt?
Yeah, and also to like order food. And,
Okay.
Like, to hang out in Koreatown, which is like a really big spot in LA.
So in Koreatown, did you go to a restaurant called Yong Suzan or
Oh,
whatever it is?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and like then I had to. I went there. A client hosted me there one day, and I had to come home and tell my wife that I had dinner with young Susan. But it's a restaurant name. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing.
But if you had brought her a napkin that where you see it written out in Korean, she might be able to read it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where like Korean and Chinese are similar in those roots.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
But today we disagree a lot.
Yeah.
In the who's better, who's cooler.
Oh, okay, that's
all that
fine.
stuff.
That's fine. A little healthy.
Yeah, sure.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up here in LA.
Did you? You and your brother too. Your brother-in-law.
He was born in Taiwan. I think he came here when he was 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So you're California boys.
Oh yeah. It seems to be rare actually here in LA.
Really?
Like, even like most of the people I meet are not from LA, except for the friends I grew up with.
Okay.
But yeah, there are a lot of transplants here.
So what's changed? Like, how's it changed?
Well, there's more buildings, which is
Yeah.
fine. I'm all about progression, so that's great. Not much.
Not
I mean,
much.
besides internet and smartphones and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But
Okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
LA's still chill, relaxed, great weather. There's better food now.
Yeah.
Traffic has gotten worse.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot
Taxes.
of people's taxes still suck, but we gotta take care of society apparently. So
Yeah.
I'm all about that too.
Good.
But everyone thinks LA drivers are bad. Not true.
People that are not from LA are bad, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of
So I'm from Boston. It was the same thing. We had the people thought Bostonians were bad drivers. The suburban drivers that came into Boston that sucked. Boston drivers are fine.
I don't know. I went to Boston College.
Oh,
so
yes,
I would
all right,
drive
right.
in Boston.
So you understand.
Yeah, but we had the T, we
Yeah.
had the Big Dig,
Yeah,
and a
that's
bunch of one-way streets that didn't make sense.
But they all go in circles. So if you get lost, you just end up right at the same place you started.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Here in LA, it's just, you
Yeah.
turn right every block. You'll eventually be.
You miss an exit, and then you're in the
Right.
next city.
Right. Exactly. Well, before we pivot, Chris, what would you say has been the hardest or most challenging part of growing Marquis so far?
There are a lot of challenges, and I feel like it really evolves every month.
Okay.
Every quarter. In
Challenge sounds like challenge whack-a-mole to me.
Exactly. And I can't even dream what it would be like to not have any challenges. Oh, we created a great beverage, great brand, put it on the shelf, and then we're done. That actually has never happened. As easy as it has looked with other beverages, that is not what is happening behind the scenes. There's a lot of consumer education that needs to happen. There's a lot of retail execution, making sure that your positioning inside the market is right, making sure that your consumer is shopping that aisle. Brand awareness, brand recognition, and now all these there's so much noise in the market. It's really hard to really stand out because we're all using the same tools.
Chris, both of us have business degrees from Boston, by the way. Mm-hmm. And how much percentage of what you feel you need to know to succeed comes from your business degree versus being in the trenches?
I would say about a few points, because I don't want to diss Boston College.
No, BC is a great college. It's a beautiful college. I love. Yeah, BC is beautiful.
No, there's nothing that could have prepared me for this, and there still isn't anything except for my own experience.
So what keeps you going? Because you're obviously, if you're learning it in the trenches, you're drinking through the fire hose, right?
Yeah.
You had to have moments. Everybody has ups and downs.
Oh yeah, several times an hour.
Yeah.
But
there's drugs for that. But we're doing it. Yes, cheers again. All right, thanks, buddy.
That's right. Mm-hmm. What keeps me going is that there are a lot of problems, operational problems.
Yeah.
Of revenue versus expenses and all that stuff. But I see people
distribution problems, cans printed wrong.
Nothing works the way you think it's going to. Fine. Yeah. But when I see consumers buy my stuff and drink my stuff and enjoy it and talk about it, I know I'm doing something right. So that's enough. So
your fans, they're fans, right? They're your brand, your customers keep you going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if I didn't have any customers,
that'd be different. You wouldn't be in business. But there's a difference because you're in touch. Because what you're saying is you see them.
Yeah.
You've gotten feedback from them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, to me, if you ask me, it's a similar thing, right? I mean, to know that you're making a difference, it's huge to keeping you going.
Yeah.
Because you see you're moving their needle.
It's working.
Yeah.
Now, how do you scale that?
Yeah.
They don't teach you that in business school. Well, they try to. They teach you history.
There's no class on scaling a business or
especially
probably not even growing a business.
Not at all, especially in this dynamic world.
Yeah.
What worked before is good to know, but now we have to decide how to apply all these lessons that may be conflicting, but they're also true. And they hold some weight. So it's up to us, the leadership team, to really figure out which play to run and when.
Christopher, are there any principles you guys live by or operate on, or things that have been the guiding light or your North Star as a business?
Yeah. I do not have any beverage experience. Well, going into it, I didn't. Now I have 6.5 years, and I have a lot of it, but I'm still not the wisest one. What I've learned.
A good leader is a humble leader, so it's good.
Thanks. We try. So my ethos is, I came into this industry and this business not knowing anything, open-minded. You got to learn. Yeah. People say that they're open-minded. People say that they want to learn, but it's actually actions speak louder than words. So you'll see if they're actually doing it or not. I like to think that we are. Because any team member we onboard, any person we talk to at a trade show, anybody, just seeing what they think about beverage or Marquis or Yerba Mate or Instagram, all this stuff just helps trying to figure out what we got to do next. And we're going to get a lot of it wrong, but my job is to provide as many chances as we need to see what works and what doesn't.
So what I'm hearing is you've baked in failure, meaning you just bake in that you got to iterate.
Yeah.
And that learning is okay.
Yeah.
You just sort of go like this or like that.
I'm a little bit more lenient with my team. So if they make a mistake, I don't necessarily just terminate them right away. I'm not that kind of guy. But yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Steve Jobs, or you look like some other CEOs.
Sure.
Everyone has a different personality, different style. It works for them. That's fine. I'm more empathetic to learning as we go. But now that 6.5 years later, I think I know how to hire better as well.
I think that we should touch on that because that's one of the biggest mysteries for young people learning right butts and right seats. And there's the management methodologies around HR and people it's the hardest thing.
It is.
There's a saying that business would be easy if it weren't for people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And figuring out, like, there's no book you can read that what's going to work in your organization.
Yeah.
And
every individual is different, obviously.
Different.
So,
and some people are looking for them to fit, doing what you want to do the way you do it. And other people like you have, so with more empathy and more understanding of versatility of style, comes also figuring out knowing what a dud looks like at each of those styles, which is harder.
Yeah, very difficult. It's a judgment call, and it's very subjective. As much as we try to objectify it and fill out forms and applications and check boxes, we try to prevent that from happening. But it's all about the interview, and then it's all about management, which happens afterwards. And you'll uncover a lot of things. A lot of people interviewed well, they didn't work out afterwards. So it's but going through that rhythm, knowing that this is what you got to do. That's something I learned on the job.
Sure.
Year 1, I didn't have these direct reports. Year 6, now I do.
Of course you do, yeah.
Right.
Well, there's a saying here, by the way. I think in LA it's more than ever that that all that glitters is not gold.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that glitters here.
There's a lot.
And so you're talking about people that do really well in interviews but didn't perform well. Do you find that have you come to be more skeptical of people that are just awesome in interview because the expectations come on so high?
No. I'm generally not that skeptical. I err more, optimistic.
That's what your lawyers are for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
good.
why I talk to your team. It's like, okay,
exactly.
This person said this. What should I do?
What do we do? Yeah.
There's some checks and balances. There's some outside.
Right.
Services.
They said they're going to generate $10 million in business. So where should we set their performance incentives and their options? Right.
Exactly. Was it in the four corners of the contract, or was this vocalized? All those things.
Yeah.
No. We take chances in everything we do, in every decision we make, and that's what's you got to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And then you just got to do your job.
Yeah.
And measure it and see if it's being productive or contributive, or if it's not.
Yeah.
And then you have to do as employers, especially in California, you gotta do your job to comply.
Yeah.
With all these things. So, all this stuff wasn't around in year 1.
Yeah.
Year 1 and year 2 and year 3, I'm going out there.
Yeah.
And trying to educate people on Marquis, and so it's the CEO position in each of my years and really each of my quarters has really changed.
Chris, I say that all the time, and even through the life of Exemplar, we're a 15-year-old business, and we say to our clients, what got you here doesn't get you there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of what you're speaking to.
Yeah.
Is that the recipe for what it means to be a good CEO? It really does change every couple of years or more.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I absolutely have. And when talking business and talking, about, popular figures in business with friends and whoever, everyone points to all the guys that we speak of in the news. And they're like, that's great. Did any of them build a brand from scratch?
Yeah.
Not really. And what they're doing right now wouldn't be applicable to what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So, but learning from it and hearing stories, that's all great. It's up to me to really decide what we got to do to move, Marquis forward tomorrow.
That's right.
So it's tough. It's challenging.
But you keep at it.
It is a privilege to keep at it, but thankfully, I think our brand is working.
Yeah.
Moreover, I think our product is working, and now it's just about making it work in the system of CPGs.
Yeah. Has your wife been supportive through the journey? Has it been hard there, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would have been a deal breaker.
Yeah.
If she wasn't. But she has been. Not that she agrees with everything we've done.
No, of course, but that's a whole other thing. She's not running the business after all, but
no.
but yeah.
Her insight, and just
Yeah.
like what I was talking about earlier, getting people's insights is valuable. I don't care who you are, or what seat you hold, or how much money you make. What do you think about Marquis? What do you think about our brand? What do you think about our marketing? Any of that.
Does she weigh
helps.
in with you on stuff?
Absolutely. She's a millennial. She spends time on Instagram.
Okay.
So
She's in touch.
Mm-hmm. And so she puts me in touch with what's going on there because I'm not on social media.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm on email, but that's
Yeah.
as far as that goes. So she keeps me up to date with what's going on, what's current, and what looks good, what doesn't, and all that stuff. So her opinion is not only welcomed, but it's permanent.
I love that. But it's been beneficial to you, clearly, because she's giving you an insight you couldn't otherwise get.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
great.
I bounced those ideas off of our marketing team, and it's a good, responsible dialogue.
Yeah.
So
I've got to say, my wife it's been the same. She's been amazing.
She's a millennial who surfs Instagram all the time. and-
She's not a big not so much in the social media standpoint, but from a different aesthetic and different level of in touch. Yeah, I mean, probably close to millennial in that sense, and more just a different aesthetic. It's a different sense of what's modern. She's in technology, so she's in in high tech. It's different, so she knows stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, all these vantage points
that's right. Really
are helpful.
That's right.
And they're really special because it's not
Yeah.
like I could go and learn these things in school.
That's right.
It's just about who we meet. Even all the teammates I've met on your team have all provided different vantage points.
Yeah.
Not because I pay them to provide that for me, but they're all pretty cool people.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. It's been years now. It's been how many? We've been working together. Must be 4 or 5 years.
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or something.
Yeah, I think we got together.
It was before
probably
I moved here, for sure.
Yeah, and we're talking about
So I moved here
Chris.
5 years ago. Okay, so that's 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, 2014-ish.
Yeah.
Rose Cafe
Yeah.
in Venice.
That's right. Okay, it's about 6 years.
Yeah.
Holy moly, you've come a long way, Chris.
I like
You
to
and
think I
Danny.
have. You too.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. But so, what was it? What's it? You've been on Flexpertise. We've been talking to many people on the team over the years, from everything from distribution agreements to IP to contracts and everything. I mean, we talk strategy and rolling people on and rolling them off. Like it's just all a part of business, right?
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
It has been comforting to have a team, not just you.
Yeah.
Even though it's been a lot of you at the beginning, but it's been comforting to have that kind of talent in our corner. We can always bounce ideas off, and the dynamic of like what you created in terms of providing counsel in a different way than what's typical is awesome. In the space that you're targeted and become very fluent in is our space. So it's we're always innovating, we're always progressing and doing something different, hopefully for the better. And I think we're doing just that. All the journey we've been on together has been really enriching. And then I've seen your company grow too.
Yeah.
Been talking to a lot of your teammates for years now.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I feel like I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes as CEO, you feel like you are alone.
Yeah, no doubt.
So
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And I guess I never really thought about the uniqueness of being on a journey where you're growing and the team that's working with you is growing at the same time? Because like everybody's in the journey.
Yeah.
Like you're on a growth journey.
Yeah.
It's not just like working with some big drone of a firm that's like, thousands of partners and like they're growing at a meager 5% a year.
We have a customer ID number.
Exactly, customer ID.
That's all who we are.
Exactly. You get assigned an account executive from India.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I love it. That's great. That's awesome.
So yeah, you've seen our growth. You've seen the development. It's not over. I've seen Exemplar's development, your development, and your personal growth. You know.
But Chris, it's great. The journey, like being on the journey together, has been great too, and growing. There's nothing more rewarding than growing something, right? I mean, have you felt that? Is that a part of your?
Certainly, that's what also keeps me going during the day. Yeah, the journey is great. I'm learning a lot. I'm impacting a lot of people, both inside of my company and consumers. But then at the end of the day, at the end of the journey, is it going to be successful or not? Can I say I did it or not? That's a big piece of stress that is looming there. And you will never realize it until you get there.
A lot of people have stripes, scars, but look, in Europe, people don't start, the entrepreneurship culture is different. If you fail, like it's a big negative. And here, it's just a stripe. You just move up the ranks. And so it's interesting you call it a piece of stress because in some ways, you're a young guy, I've got some time.
Yeah.
Like you've got time for like this doesn't have to be your end thing either. Do you have that perspective or is it still the pressure because you're in it and you just like
yes and no. I don't hang my hat on I'm going to get it a second chance. Cuz realistically I probably won't. At beverage or something.
Okay,
I'm trying to make it now.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not trying to.
And I always do tell guys, I'm like, if you're married, you got like one chance to blow your life savings, and then exactly. Like you're not getting another chance.
That's it. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen, but what we're doing right now is opportune. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But it's there and it's very real, and I'm going to see through to it. What happens afterwards?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Could be a third kid.
I love it.
It could be a bigger legal team.
Could it be a fourth kid?
Probably. Well, it probably depends on how many cans we're moving.
I love it. The cans for college. It's the cans for college program.
Support my kids.
I love it. I love that. Otherwise, who knows? It might be like a GoFundMe campaign. You never know. They might abolish college by then because it only accounts for like 2 points, you said, of like what's real about life. Yeah. So like that's going through a transformation. We better get real. We're going to get real?
Oh, I keep it real all the time.
Okay, we're going to do toast and get real.
All right.
And like move out of business and like what's happening in the world. Like education's been completely disrupted.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so many people are like loaded with college debt, and people like us that went to business school have realized how much learning from doing is critical.
Yeah.
There's principles to learn, but I'm like also, have you noticed that you can learn so much on YouTube and like other things faster than you'd ever learn in a semester of college?
I tell my team all the time, there's no reason why you shouldn't know something right now. Google it.
Yeah.
It'll take you a few seconds.
Let me give you
do that all the time.
Okay, a CEO thing, it's a pet peeve. I don't know why I'm sharing this on television. A pet peeve of mine as CEO is asking a question that they had time to answer that was Googleable, and they came back to me like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, if I can ask somebody, did you Google it? And the answer is no, I'm like, what the F is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you came back to the CEO and you said, I didn't know, when all you had to do was Google it.
You
like,
really tried your best?
Yeah,
that was your best?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah, definitely empathetic to that.
Okay. Glad it's not just me.
No, and so again, I'm more lenient because like I don't know a lot of things. I don't claim to know everything, but I claim to at least try.
Yeah, you know where to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah. But back to college and higher education. What that's like now. It's different from the original intention.
Yeah.
Of it.
Well, okay, let's go there. I think there's more to that than you're talking about. There might be. Well, look, back when you were at BC, and I was back in Boston in business school, and when Northeastern and the Suffolk Law Business School, they weren't indoctrination machines. I mean, BC was pretty straight up, right?
There's BC Law,
Yeah,
which was a little separate.
Yeah, that was a little separate.
Yeah, it's different now. I mean, our parents growing up, and even their parents in America. Higher education was where it was at.
Yeah, that was the path. Like, you were ingrained probably. I know Asian families ingrained it.
Absolutely.
I had a Middle Eastern, Iraqi Jewish, mother's side. So it was like education.
Yeah.
Like doctor, lawyer. Those are your two paths, right?
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
But now that this information is more accessible, really all it takes is that piece of paper to get ahead of the rest of the pack.
Yeah.
So when you're interviewing for big investment banks or Exemplar, you're going to look at their law school.
Yeah.
You're not going to look at how many hours of YouTube.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Did you watch Catch Me If You Can? If so, how many times? Yeah. It's so it's that kind of degree.
That's one aspect of it, but it has changed. Because not entirely. It's not yet transformed.
No.
But it's changing because there are absolute sort of badasses in certain fields that I can tell are just badasses.
Yeah.
And their credentials, like maybe they didn't go to the best college, but there's a saying that like C students become leaders and A students become employees of big companies, right? I mean, there's something to there, and it's not always the case. It's not always the case.
For sure, it's certainly experience is the most valuable thing. You can't just print that.
Well, there's humility. There's so much else that goes into being good.
Yeah.
That isn't just about the credential.
Exactly.
And that's the stuff you're probably interviewing for, and I'm interviewing for. It's the soft stuff.
Yeah, it depends. But honestly, Chris, if I interviewed you to be my legal counsel and you didn't have a law degree,
you might
probably would have passed on you.
Yeah, you might have been like.
So we're still there yet. No matter. Like I have a lot of friends who are lawyers, and like they do good work, and we have really good conversations, even though most of them are Republican or support Donald Trump. Anyways, that's the next.
Well, you're making tea great again, so we're all doing. Everybody's doing their part. Okay, that's all I can say.
That's right. That's right.
And it's what's great about what you just said is that you didn't cancel them.
No,
you didn't ghost them.
No.
You're still friends with them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but that's not what's going on in society right now.
Absolutely. There's a lot of emotional, investment.
So tell me, but is it concerning to you what you see happening right now with that? The intolerance of people's perspectives?
It's not new.
Okay, so intolerance of perspectives is not new, you're saying?
Yeah.
You don't think it's newer or worse than the age of Trump?
I think it was actually rooted with George W. Bush.
Really?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. You mean society's intolerance? Because haven't you noticed like people aren't having conversations outside of their own tribe?
Conversely, it's the tolerance of such a behavior or leadership or character from the number one guy in the world. That we've never really seen before. So, going back to George W. Bush, for me, being a
no new
adult,
taxes, right? Yeah, that was his thing. I think
that was the first time I saw personally
Yeah.
that the number one guy in the world, it was okay to not be articulate. It was okay to.
Oh, that was the son. Yeah.
Oh, W.
Yeah, George W. Yeah.
The son.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. Strategery, yeah. I think he said strategery. I think he made up that word.
Okay, fool me once.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Shame on somebody. Okay, got it. That guy. It's almost
that stuff. And
nothing compared to what Biden says nowadays, but still.
True with Biden.
Yes. Okay.
More true with Trump.
Okay.
I know we're going to disagree on
no,
Trump,
we might not. I love it. Which we should not.
I separate separate Republicans from Trump.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, he's not Republican.
He's Trump.
He's Trump. Yeah. He's uniquely Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a hostile takeover of the Republican Party because they didn't have their shit together. No, he's a businessman.
It's exactly.
It's the art of the deal.
Yeah.
And
exactly
he totally did it.
Yeah. And now he represents that party.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll have some Republican friends that disagree, but I have some other Republican friends that will only vote Republican no matter what.
Okay, so you get your diehards. There's always going to be the factions.
Of course.
Yeah, but
of course.
But the society intolerance. You're saying that there was a intolerance of people to have conversations, to understand each other, to see each other, and that dates back to George W. Because I didn't see that. I saw it all starting in 2016.
The intolerance is actually stems long before that. The tolerance of this kind of irresponsible rhetoric has been increased in the past 2 decades. Maybe because of social media, maybe because of the way information travels very fast, and the way it's okay for people to be very not just abrasive, but even disrespectful,
unkind. Mm-hmm. It's just
that's part of it.
Yeah. But it's become but there's the sort of age of the troll, right? Which is only come with social media.
Yeah.
Because there's trolls that must have nothing better to do than
Social media has magnified all of our pre-existing human conditions, meaning
maybe more
trolling.
the bad than good.
I don't know if it's bad or good. It's certainly traveling faster.
Okay. So in other words, maybe it's creating a false perception of what's real.
I think that would have happened anyways, despite the speed of the way that information travels.
Okay.
We could talk shit all the time.
Yeah.
And we could, we have opinions. That's fine. But now there's a bigger platform where you say right now can reach more people than just you and me. And then imagine,
so
that
more
10.
individuals have a voice than before because it took a lot of resources to have broadcast studios, and I write music, so what happened, we went through the phase where you had to go to a recording studio. It had to cost $1 million to build one of those things, and now you have a computer, you can have a recording studio, right?
Yeah, and what you say could catch fire, in a second.
That's right.
You're not trying to be viral or anything. You're just being you.
That's right.
Anything could happen at any moment. But still, it's a level playing field. There's so many other people that are doing that, and so we still only have 24 hours in a day.
No doubt.
So it's not like we can receive more information than we're used to. It's just that now there's even more information that we can't even be selective about it. It's kind of just what Instagram feeds us or what Facebook feeds us.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting thing because you're talking about the meal plan now. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned at all about censorship?
In what regard?
Well, the social media platforms, which have become publishers, which are taking sides in political battles and essentially censoring some speech and favoring others.
I never thought that these social platforms, which originally was the concept of like Facebook and platforms like that, never thought that they would be responsible or held responsible for truth or untruth. They were just a platform where people can talk, but all of a sudden now they have to be they have to validate what people are saying.
Well, they don't have to, but they've started to. The problem is it's a slippery slope, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So what it's a consequence of spreading lies, but it's not your lie, but it's just your platform is enabling people to spread lies. But now, are lies subjective or is it objective?
Sure.
Certainly, there's some of that there. Is it the responsibility to govern that? I still don't think so.
Right.
I want it to be because I don't want the opposition to me to believe in lies that I don't believe in. So now we're still stuck in this conundrum of what's real, what's not. What
you're saying is that originally it was a platform that wasn't taking sides or a position, but it's become that.
Yeah.
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 And that's problematic, isn't it?
I think so. So now let's fast forward to...
You want to fast forward with a refill?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's do that.
What do you think about that?
About whether it's
censorship.
Look, as an attorney, we probably have a different view on whether that's problematic, or I don't know if that's different. We have a
Don't be an attorney. Be Chris.
Thanks, by the way. Look, as just a human, I think free speech is precious. It's why people come here. Freedom is why people come here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from an immigrant family, so for me, the certain freedoms you have in this country are what make it amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
And there was a time at which that wasn't a political thing. If anything, it was a democratic platform, right? ACLU was fighting for civil rights and constitutional rights, and things like free speech were essential. So it wasn't a politicized thing. It's not inherently political to preserve things that are in the Constitution. So for me as just Chris, I think it's pretty. We want to be able to hear all voices, and we need to be trusting that the people are smart. Not all people are smart, but we also need to be able to get smarter by hearing other voices and using discernment.
Yeah.
And sharpening each other's knives by having the conversations. When we start to get involved in the slippery slope of censorship, we're actually preventing free people from being smart, and we're allowing propaganda to penetrate people's minds, and we get back into the problems of communism and socialism. So for me, I'm particularly offended by censorship.
So then what do you think about spreading untruth and lies?
What is untruth, Christopher? See, these are the things as who becomes the arbiter of truth. If we spin a die on the floor and the top of it says 5, did we roll a 5? Because you see a 2 and I see a 6, because you're on the other side of it. What is truth? So, you know, that the reality is can any corporation be the arbiter of truth in reality? And could their shareholders, and it is the best interest of shareholder value to spend billions of dollars being the arbiter of the truth of every damn thing that's said on a platform? You know the answer. The millions upon millions of messages, I don't know, minutes, 10 minutes, every hour maybe. There's not any amount of human capacity that could be the arbiter of truth of everything that goes on a platform.
That's right.
If you're a platform.
That's right.
So either do it or just don't do it. And they can't afford to do it.
Yeah. The court system is supposed to be the arbiter of truth.
There is a system.
And we still get it wrong.
Yeah.
It's still not 100%.
You got it.
We can't even get close to 95 or 90%. Now, but as a person, especially if you're a leader, maybe, the leader of the free world, are you responsible for telling the truth, or is it okay to not tell the truth? And I'm not talking about subjectivity or objectivity. There are some clear things that are truthful or not.
No, now we're talking about the difference between facts and non-facts. Let me give you a fact, Christopher. According to statistics, everyone in America has on average 1 testicle. Sorry to do that with your mouthful of a beverage. It's 100% true and 100% useless. It's a fact.
That doesn't discredit the value of truth.
Chris, I'm just telling you that you can use facts.
1 ball's better than 0.
I love it. That's great. So I'm just telling you that facts also are mined and used to manipulate and used in propaganda, and data mining is data mining, right? And so there just really isn't any means of utilizing the many ways data can be mined, in fact, can be spun to itself determine that to be simply the universal truth of a thing, right?
I see your point.
Yeah.
And that's why you have a law degree. Humans can spin anything.
Yeah,
and
humans can spin it, and they will.
And I always say the humans, in any human system, they'll game it.
So what I'm trying to tell you is, Christopher, the question itself is hung up on what is truth, which is philosophical at its best. But isn't what we need to achieve is true understanding? Don't we need to hear each other? Instead of understanding whether I rolled a 5 on the die, don't I need to see that you see a 2 and I see a 6? Don't you need to see what I see and me to see what you see? So that we can understand each other.
We have to establish common denominators.
Yeah.
And then we could build off of that. If you're seeing a 5 and I'm seeing a 2, but the dice on the top says, 6, we need to help each other see what is actually happening. But if your crew is saying 5 all the way and my crew is saying, we do nothing but 2, then there's another issue there. It's not about the dice.
Of course, that's right. It's about did we change the rules? Do we believe there are different rules of the game? Did we agree that whatever shows up on top is the number? You got
language
it.
Is
That's a
Dyson?
language.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't happen unless there's conversation and dialogue. And what I'm seeing is the least amount of dialogue to see each other than ever in my lifetime. Do you see that?
I absolutely do see that. I also see a lot of untruth out there. For example,
I see that on both sides.
Of course.
Yeah.
No side is, it's hard to say this. No side is better than the other.
Right.
It's become tribalism. And it's become of like blue, red.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not a Republican shirt. This is just a...
We're just making tea great again. I just want to be clear for the audience.
I just want to be
all
clear
we're
for
doing.
Yeah.
We're making tea. That's great. I love it. Love it. But thanks Trump for using for allowing your slogan to help.
10 years ago would have been a change tea again.
It would have been something. It would have been some political
Blue and
slogan
red and
that
purple.
somebody else paid millions for. That we're just riding the wave. Right. Got it. Clear.
I feel like there's a irresponsibility with truth, with some facts.
Okay. Well, isn't that propaganda?
To your point, propaganda can also turn truth into opinion.
Well, or it could turn truth into something that's not true.
So
Truth out of context, for example, could be lie.
Which is not truth.
Which is not truth.
It's interpretation.
If truth is intentionally manipulated out of context, it could actually be a lie, right?
Which is not the truth anymore. It's propaganda and all the things we're saying.
Yeah,
the baseline here, and you're a lawyer, and I love having...
and I don't object.
Truth by definition.
Yeah.
It's truth, and you can't mess with it. It's you can't taint it. It's immutable. So,
but that's
how
deep,
you
that's deep
use
shit
it.
right there. But you're saying, but that's again, truth still gets back into who is the keeper of universal truth, and different sides pretend they're the keepers of it. But the thing is, like, there's politicizing everything happening right now.
Well, yeah, it's about how you use it.
Then there's the rest of the people, the normal people of the world that walk around that aren't diehard anything. Because they're just humans. I'm not sure about you, but I don't walk around self-identifying as a party. In fact, I don't really, I disagree with both of them on a lot of things.
Me too.
And so for me, I feel like I'm a human. I'm like a complex being.
Yeah.
And I got opinions on stuff, and sometimes, right, you see something in the news, you're like, that's not quite right. And for both sides.
For both sides.
You're like, that sensibility, and then pandemic came along, and the opposite party, of which you might have more related to, did something. You're like, that's not quite right.
No.
Yeah.
But then I look at people that will defend it till the day they die, without looking the other way, because
they're tribal.
Yeah.
They become tribal.
So that kind of commitment and passion, great. Now let's kind of repurpose that into something better. But that's my opinion.
But you're not one of those guys, though. So you're not the tribal guy.
No.
And neither have I, because it's just, I got laughed. I got a little chuckle yesterday. I was on our show, Pandora's Box, which is when I was talking about that we all need to go to the petting zoo. And because we're everybody's so tribal, they don't even know what other creatures look like. Everybody's like a different animal.
It's on the screen or something.
You need to if you're if you're of a different culture, you need to go pet a different culture. Go talk to them, learn about them, for God's sake.
Go dine in their restaurant.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Go hang out with some people. Get to know them. And where did we lose the thirst to really see each other? Because I feel like we've really people have really lost the thirst to leave their tribe and go see each other.
I think it all comes down to, or all comes up to leadership. So when you have leadership that says, that side sucks, stick with me, no one's going to bother with seeing the other side. But if someone said, you know what, that side's interesting, go check it out. By the way, I will, lower your taxes and I'll provide this and that. But, this is this other side is interesting. That's that kind of, I think, responsible dialogue. But that's not happening. It's very black and white or very blue and red. Disappointing though.
Yeah.
Also, the blue has also become more way left.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so
it's good you're recognizing that, because there's one thing. If there's one thing the Chinese got right, and I'm not saying this is not a call out to my wife. It's the yin yang has been accurate for centuries.
It has.
And you know what? As the white people, they bastardized. They just stick a line down the middle, and they made some beautiful concept of equality, and they created something called sameness, which is a bastardization of this really ancient symbol of the yin yang, which isn't at all sameness. It's balance. It's equality with a little bit of the other in the other.
Yeah.
Which is just acknowledges that balance and respect, but it isn't attempting to just put a line down the middle and call it a day.
Yeah.
And there's just a philosophical component missing to what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the age-old concept of duality.
Yeah.
Day and night, good and evil, and there's always one thing that's opposite of the other.
Yeah.
And sometimes that gets exacerbated, especially with violence and war.
Yeah.
Or we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then we leave it up to society to really make the decision. I'm not. Well,
Where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Not with the conversation. What's your prediction of where are we going? Is it getting worse before it gets better? Is it going to get better?
I lean optimistic. I'm always optimistic. So I always think that whatever all of us are doing in society and humans, we're doing it for the greater good, and we're going to get better. It's kind of like an asymptote. We'll always approaching, never reaching. But along the way, there's going to be ups and downs. And I'm a finance guy, so you look at charts and you look at swings and peaks and valleys. So,
but what makes you okay? I'm an optimist. I was born. My mom's a pessimist, and she's a psychologist. Which you take any, and when you get your teenage years, you rebel from that, and you become an optimist, and it's stuck because you realize what you're capable of by doing that. And from that, I'm by nature an optimist like you. However, what objectively are you seeing that makes you optimistic outside of yourself, outside of your nature to be optimistic?
I think generally, people as a whole, especially in the system that we have set up here in America, although it's not perfect, but there's enough of checks and balances, there's enough of communication and media to expose stuff that I truly believe that we're trying to do what's right. We're going to make mistakes, Trump, but
well, all right. You had to say that.
But along the way, we're going to learn from it. We're going to get better from it. This is the first time in history that we've all experienced leadership like this.
Yeah, and something created it.
Exactly.
And something created the energy in the people to enable that to happen.
Exactly.
And so acknowledging as much as the sort of Trump gives us a name to focus our energies, whether they're positive or they're negative. There's a lot of energies, and it gives us a name. We can call it out. We can say it's Trump. We can label it, right? But Trump is a manifestation of certain energies that were created by something that started before him.
I hope you don't mind that I fuck around and
I love that you fuck around. I love to joke around.
Well, you don't really see the side of because I have to be a proper executive.
But truthfully, we don't want to be proper executives. We want to be real. We just want to be who we are.
And no one's a proper president either.
That's true. That's true, and he's not. But you know what? You gotta. Look, anyways.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot. We could go on with that because it takes a lot of fucking guts to not give a shit. And just call it like you see it.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever people think.
Yeah.
And there's just something to that that's actually tapping into a nerve of what people there's it's like there's always the duality of it,
Yeah.
right? It pisses a lot of people off, but it also says, God, we just need people to say what's real, what's going on, because people are not talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, look, Christopher, thanks for getting real tonight, buddy.
My
Appreciate
man, Chris.
it. Chris to Chris, CEO of Marquis Beverage. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, this is CEOs Get Real. I'm Christopher Marston. We have Christopher Lai. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.